Today, I've got a really special build for you guys. I'm gonna be building this memorial flag display case. It's got some steep angles in it. It's 45 degrees on top, but down here on the bottom, we got a 22.5 and 22.5. Cutting steep angles can be really hard to do, near impossible on a miter saw, and it can be very hard to get precise angles on a job site table saw. But I did that, and I'll show you guys how I did it, using just this Klein digital angle gauge and the scrap wood tenoning jig that I built myself. I've got free plans to both the display case and the tenoning jig in the description below if you guys want to check that out. But let's go ahead, get started with the build. So for this build, I'm going to be using some black walnut I picked up from my local sawmill. This is rough cut lumber. If you don't have the ability to mill down your own wood in your shop, you can definitely just go buy your wood of preference that's already been surfaced. But since I do, I'm going to go ahead and mill all this down to 3/4 of an inch for the case pieces. I am going to fill you guys in on what's going on here. So I don't have a moisture meter, which it's on the list to get next, but I picked up some of this walnut at the sawmill. I did not test the moisture level of it before I bought it. And when I got back to the shop, I started to mill it down as you see here. But as soon as I cut it down to the thickness I needed it, it immediately started to bend and warp. I tried to straighten it out on the planer and the joiner again, going down to even a 1/2 inch, but the more material I took off, the more the board started to bend. So I went back to the sawmill, got a drier piece of wood, cut it down into manageable pieces, milled it down to the size and thickness that I needed, and we were finally off to the races. Whenever I cut the wood down into manageable sizes, I always leave them about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch oversized. That way, as I'm milling the lumber and getting it all straight and ready for the build, I never go past that measurement that I want to end up at. So for this display case, I need 2 sides at 17 3/4 of an inch. And for the bottom, I need a piece at 25 1/8 of an inch. All 3 case pieces are going to be 3/4 of an inch thick and 4 inches wide. As you know, there are thousands of different ways you can build a flag display case. There's a lot of really good ideas online. This is the most generic size that I found that would fit most folded memorial flags. So if you guys like this design, feel free to use the plans as much as you want. And if you don't like this design, well, you know, go build something a little bit better and send me a picture. I would love to see it. So after getting all these case pieces milled down to size, checked them real quick, made sure they were all consistent with each other. Then I swapped the blades on my table saw out to a 60-tooth, fine finish, 10-inch Diablo table saw blade. We're gonna get all these cut down to their 4-inch wide size. And now it's time to pull out this sick little tenoning jig that I made. Also, free plans if you wanna look at them in the description. As long as my blade and fence are square to each other, I can make really consistent, accurate angled cuts using this tenoning jig. So the first angle I'm going to cut is the 45-degree angle for the top of the case. Now you can get your blade set to 45 degrees a number of different ways. You can use a speed square like I'm showing here, or you can use something like this Klein digital angle finder. I didn't start out using this. This is something I added to the shop after a while, but it's really sped things up. I'll put a link to it in the description below. This is not sponsored, by the way. This has just been a really handy tool in the shop and made things a lot easier. A little trick I learned, especially when cutting angles like this, is to not go directly to, say, 45 degrees. We're gonna go to 44.9 or 0.8. And what that does, basically, when you put the 2 pieces together that you cut at 44.9 degrees, is even if that blade is off just a little bit, and there is a hair of a gap, that gap is gonna be pushed towards the inside, not the outside. So when you're looking at the box, or the triangle in this case, from the outside, you're gonna have some really tight seams, and that's what we're going for. We're really trying to get those seams nice and tight. You don't wanna see any big gaps, especially on a nice display case like this. So as you can see here, I'm taking some scrap lumber that's roughly the same size as the display case pieces I'm going to be cutting. And I'm doing some test cuts. I always like to do a number of test cuts before I cut down the boards. I just meticulously and carefully milled down to size. So once I've confirmed that that blade is right at 45 degrees or just a hair under 45 degrees, I went ahead and cut those 2 side panels for the case right at 45 degrees for that top angle. So with that 45-degree angle out of the way, I'm going to adjust my table saw blade to 67.5 degrees or 0.4 since we're going just a hair under. That's because I'm using the table saw surface as the reference for this digital angle finder. And since I know I want this to be a 22.5 degree angle, I'm gonna take 90 degrees minus 22.5, and that leaves me with 67 1.5 degrees. And now I've got 4 cuts to make at this angle, 1 on each side panels on the bottom, and then 2 on either end of the base piece for the case. Once I've got all my angles cut, I double check to make sure they're all fitting right. I had a couple that were just a hair off, so I actually went over, adjusted the blade by like 0.1 degree on 2 of the bottom angles, just so they lined up perfectly. I am a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to tight angles, so I think I spent a little bit too much time on it, but it turned out good in the end, so I'm happy with it. After I'm happy with all of the angles, I mark the front of all of the boards so I know what the front of the case is going to be. That's because next I'm going to take a chamfer bit with my trim router, and I'm going to give the inside edge to all of these panels a small chamfer. This step isn't necessary, but I've seen a lot of other people do this, and I thought it gave it a nice decorative look. So after checking to make sure all the chamfers line up, I went back over to my table saw, got my blade right back to 90 degrees, set my table saw fence at 3.5 inches, and cut off a strip on the front where the chamfer was. This trim that I just made is going to hold the glass in place. Next, I'm going to take these panels over to the table saw and cut a 1/4 inch deep by 1/8 inch wide rabbet on both sides of the panels. Now ideally, if you're not using a dado stack to cut rabbets, you'd want to use a flat grind blade on your table saw. I currently don't have a flat grind blade, so I'm just using my standard, alternate tooth blade. But this resulted in having some ridges inside of the rabbet edge that didn't make it a true 1/4 inch deep. This did add a little time to the project, but I took my chisels and I just shaved off that ridge on all the rabbets I had just cut with the table saw. I wanted it to be a true 1/4 inch deep. That way everything was all precise, and when I started assembling everything together, I knew it was going to line up correctly. Before I go on with this build, I want to take a moment to honor Roland John Reeser, a Korean War veteran who passed away on March 10th, 2025. His son Bruce, a new friend of mine and a member of the Guardians Guild, reached out and helped me plan this project in his memory. This build and this video are dedicated to Roland and all the veterans who have served our great country. We are deeply grateful for your sacrifice. Because of you, we enjoy the freedoms we have today. I also want to thank Bruce for reaching out and helping me plan this build. It really means a lot. Next, I took some 120 grit sandpaper and just pre-sanded everything, knocking down any milli marks that I had going on. And then I used some blue tape to tape all of the sides together to make sure that everything was still fitting correctly. After that, I pulled out this sheet of tempered hardboard that I got for about $9 at Home Depot. I set a corner of it at the top 45-degree angle of the case, traced a line, and then extended that line a 1/4 inch since I knew it needed to sit inside of the 1/4 inch rabbet. I tried to cut it with a utility knife. It worked all right. I messed up the first time, so I had to retrace it on another corner of this hardboard. Then I realized it was easier just to cut it on my miter saw, so saved a lot of time doing that. Little amateur tip for you, should have tried that first. After I ensured that that hardboard was going to fit on the back of the case, I pulled out this 18 by 24 inch sheet of glass that I got from Home Depot as well. Now, I had never cut glass before. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than it was. I thought maybe you'd have to take it somewhere and get it custom cut to fit whatever shape you were going for. But after a quick search on YouTube, I found a couple glass cutting videos, and all I had to do was buy this little glass cutting tool, which was about $10, use the tempered hardboard I had just cut as a template, trace a line with a Sharpie on where I wanted to cut the glass. Now, the only tricky part is that you only have one pass to do this in. You cannot go over the glass a second time with this cutting tool. So, being careful with one smooth motion, or as smooth as I could make it, I ran it down that line I had traced. Then flipping the glass over, using the other side of that cutting tool, there's a little ball. You just tap that along the cut line of the glass, and then with a little force, the glass just snapped right where I wanted it to snap. And if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it. Just please, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for me. Wear some gloves while you're working with this glass. Your hands are the most important tool in your shop, and they must be protected at all times. Now, moving on to the next step, it was time to glue this case together. Just using some Titebond 3 wood glue. I made a mistake here and did not clean the squeeze out up right away while the glue was still wet in those tight angles. So getting the glue out later with a chisel after it had already dried was a pain. So I highly recommend to clean up that squeeze out right away with a clean rag. It'll save you a lot of trouble later. You don't need to use anything other than blue tape when you're gluing this up, but I had a new Bessie box lamp I picked up on sale, so I wanted to try that out. And since this is YouTube, you guys don't have to sit around waiting for the glue to dry like me. So once the glue was dry, I took off the clamp and the blue tape, just went over the whole thing with 120 grit sandpaper to get any of the squeeze out that was on the edges. This is also the point where I took a chisel and tried to get in those tight angles to get rid of the squeeze out. So now's the point where I'm going to add finish to this before I glue the trim and the glass in. I'm going to go with some Rubio Monocoat Pure. So as far as sanding goes, I only went up to 180 grit sandpaper on the outside. That's what they recommend. I rubbed the whole thing down with some denatured alcohol to get rid of any dust or excess oil. I also added some tape to the front so that I wouldn't accidentally put oil on a spot where the glue needed to go when I was gluing the chamfered trim on later. Also, I did not finish the bottom of this. I'm going to need to glue this case to the baseboard in a little bit, so I left that completely raw along with the front sides where the trim's going. And once I got all the finish on the areas I needed to finish with the finish, while I was letting that cure, I started to work on milling down a piece for my baseboard. The baseboard is going to be 27 inches long, 5 inches wide, and 1.25 inches thick. And why those dimensions, you may ask? Well, I thought it would look the prettiest. And you know what they say, if you're gonna build something, you might as well build it pretty. So once I got the baseboard milled down, squared up, everything was looking nice and crispy, I wanted to add a routed edge to the top. So for this, I'm using a Bosch, let me back up here, I'm getting ahead of myself. I went ahead and sanded everything with 120 grit, working up to 180 grit for the top, bottom, and all the sides. I did all this before I pulled the router out. So now, pulling the router out, I'm using a Bosch trim bit. I don't know exactly what this bit is called. I found it at Lowe's. I've used it in a previous video as well. I'll link it in the description if you guys like the shape that it cuts. But after testing it on a piece of scrap to make sure I got the depth that I was happy with, I went around the entire top edge of the baseboard with this bit and went over it by hand with 180 grit sandpaper just to smooth everything out and make it look nice and pretty. After that, I wiped the whole thing down with denatured alcohol to get rid of any dust and excess oil. Then I came over to the case and it was time to glue the trim to the front and get the glass installed. So, rubbing down the front with a little denatured alcohol to get rid of any excess oil on the front as well. I put the glass where it needed to go, added a thin bead of glue to the entire frame. I didn't want there to be a lot of squeeze out since I had already pre-finished this. And then using as many clamps as I could fit, I gently but firmly clamped everything into place. After waiting a few hours, it was time to take the clamps off. And would you look at that? I love it when a plan comes together. This part made me a little bit nervous getting all those angles lined up, but it turned out all right. So now it was time to glue the case to the baseboard, and for this I just ran some glue on the top of the board and the underside of the case, used some clamps, lined it up, made sure it was square and centered on that baseboard, and clamped it down. While it was drying, I took this 3M finishing pad and went over the entire area that I have already finished, wiped it all down with a clean rag, and then proceeded to put 2 coats on the bottom base and 1 more coat on the top frame. So 2 coats of Rubio Monocoat Pure for both the top case and the bottom board. After letting that cure for a little bit, you can install your flag, add the hardboard to the back. And for this, I used some brass 3/4 inch screws. You do have to be careful with these brass screws. I broke the head off of one of them. They are very soft. So make sure the hole you drill is, wide enough so that it's not too much friction on the screw, but also small enough to where those threads do grab into the wood. I couldn't find my counterset bit, so I used a countersink bit to make a little bit of a space for the head of the screw so that it would sit flush to the board. And once I got all those installed, we had ourselves a beautiful memorial display case. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, a big thanks to Bruce for planning this special build with me. If you guys want to build something like this for yourselves, a loved one, or a friend, got free plans in the description below. Like I said earlier, I've also got free plans to the tending jig, which you can use to build this case, but you can use for so many other things as well. Link in the description below as well. If you guys enjoyed this video and you don't want to miss out on future free plans that I put on this channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment. It really helps the channel out and allows me to put out more free videos just like this. If you guys like this video, I bet you'll like this one right over here. I'll see you in the next video.